He separates. He's to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Florida State. Warwick got on third down.
Winky looking Winky. Wants to throw the knockout punch to Warwick. Warwick open. Touchdown. He does a touchdown. He did catch it. Touchdown, Florida State. Oh, Peter Warwick, how'd you do that?
Herman Whitfield to the left side. A hole to the 30. Herman Whitfield to the 30. To the 20. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, FSU. Herman Whitfield. A 100-yard touchdown.
Here's the snap. Winston rolling right. Throws the pass on the other.
It's caught! It's caught! It's caught! Touchdown FSU! Calvin Benjamin!
We're doing it for everybody. We're doing it big all over the country, all over the world. And I'm proud. I'm proud to say I'm a Florida State Seminole.
This is the Garnet Old podcast with your hosts, Ryan Eastman and Vince Ciccarelli.
$1 bit, 2 bits, 4 bits, $1. We're gonna boat race the Gators this Friday day. Holler. I don't know.
That's
how he's going.
It's going well. Better than that rhyme, actually. It's going better than that rhyme.
Yeah, Mr. 2 Bits is about to be Mr. Done Bits.
Yeah. This is Garnet and Old, everybody. Welcome to Garnet and Old. We had a little hiatus last week. This is Garnet and Old. No inside info, no context, no problem. That's Ryan Eastman over there. And I'm Vince Ciccarelli.
It's one of those things. We could have done a pod, but we just assumed at this point that Florida State's just gonna whoop that. You know what? And so they did.
Yeah, it was. I want to say as expected, right? But still, you never know. It's kind of the game before a rivalry game, so you just never know how that's going to go. And it went swimmingly.
And Vince watched it live. I watched it because it was blacked out if you weren't in a geographical area that was far away. So in Jacksonville, it's completely blocked out. So the good news is about that. I was able to enjoy time with my family. We went out and did some shopping and Costco'd it up. But the whole time, I checked my phone, but I knew it was over. And then I got home and watched the condensed games. If anyone ever misses a game, I know Vince likes to go back and watch the whole thing. But if anyone ever misses an FSU game, go on the ACC Digital Network YouTube channel and watch the 30-minute condensed game. It gives you all the information what you really need to know about what kind of how the game felt, more so than a highlights package, which only shows the touchdowns. And what I saw was a whole lot of get you some and I would say professionalism. And the reason I say professionalism is because I think the average Florida State fan who went to that game, who doesn't pay attention hardcore to college football, would have assumed that is Georgia Southern or that's, just another FCS team out there. They're not. Like, Louisiana is a quality opponent that could probably beat more than half of the ACC, honestly. I really feel like they would at least compete on the field with more than half of our own conference, and we made them look like they were a joke, just like we've made the last couple of teams look like a joke. So, Vince, Jordan Travis, didn't he have to do anything, really? I mean, it was a whole lot of running the ball. What do you think about that?
I think the Jordan Travis is like, what's the race to wearing the ball cap, right? Yeah. What do we need to do to get him in a ball cap in the first half? Because he did not play at all the second half. And Louisiana, while they're not necessarily as good as they may have been last year, and their quarterback apparently was out for the rest of the year, and nobody knew about that until the last moment. But the guy that went in for him had actually had a significant number of snaps before. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't want to say it's getting to be expected, but kind of is getting to be expected that this team just cares about what they do. You saw the coach speak about, it's only about us and it's not about the opponent and all this other stuff that we hear all the time. This team really seems to do that. It doesn't matter who is on the other side of the ball, whether it's the offense or the defense. They are just going to execute. They're going to execute and execute and execute. And then when it's time for the starters to come out, which happens to be really early, then the backups executed quite a bit.
Yeah, and I keep thinking about it, and it's not about their quarterback not playing. I know we've gotten kind of lucky with opposing quarterbacks recently,
Sure.
but their defense is in the top 25% of the nation, like as far as total defense. Like Louisiana has a pretty well ranked total defense and has played well defensively, even though they haven't been able to keep up offensively with other teams. And we gave them the equivalent of a middle finger the whole game. The first run I saw that I actually saw the highlight of was the Trayshawn Ward Wildcat touchdown, in which it doesn't look like he might get it looks like an 8-yard gain, and then out of nowhere he just turns on the jets, and you forget that he has that next gear, because you saw the shiftiness and the patience, more importantly. But man, he just exploded out of that hole.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, because of where I sit during the games, I didn't even notice that it was Wildcat until after the play was over. I had thought it was just a handoff. Anyway, yeah, he rocketed through there and he was gone. And it's good to see him. He was hurt, and thank goodness, like the last 3 or 4 games, they've had the opportunity to just ease guys back into it and not take on a significant load, which is kind of the theme of this podcast tonight, is that the team is healthier, at the end of the year than it's been, since the beginning of the year. It's very strange. Like, we had our dip in the middle where the guys got hurt. But they are healthy right now and they're rested. When you only have to play Fabian Lovett, I don't know how many snaps he played, 22, 23 snaps. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, talk about frothing at the mouth for this next game. I mean, those guys are well rested. They are healthy. And aside from maybe the flu bug, which apparently was happening, they're going to be ready to get after it.
Yeah, and when I'm looking at the health of the team, of course it's natural to wonder what could have been. Mainly against, I think easily win the NC State game. We were ahead in that game anyways, and then maybe 50-50 on the Wake Forest game. But honestly, the only team I think, if we are fully healthy, that I would have still picked against us would have been Clemson. And even then, I mean, that game was much closer at the end than if we watched the game. Florida State did. They were taken care of early, and then we kind of picked up some steam in garbage time. But to be honest with you, this is a team, when healthy, that I think is a 10-11 regular season win team that just happened to have bad luck. And now is that healthy at the right time, which, listen, can't complain. Most of the predictions, Vegas, had us at 6.5 wins. So we're already well above expert predictions, some in which some experts even predicting Mike Norvell wouldn't even make it through the season. That's how bad the season would go. And now, what a great place to be in heading in. And we're talking about the Florida game a little bit, but heading into a Florida game where we legitimately believe and wouldn't be surprised if we actually pretty handily took care of Florida and got a 9-win regular season, which Vince, this is going to be interesting because you predicted 8, I predicted 9. This game is on the precipice of who was right.
I'm okay with you being right, by the way. Going back to what you were saying about, the lull in the middle of the season because of the guys that were hurt, I think it's fair to say that, the NC State game definitely, and I want to harp on that. I'm super excited to be where we're at, but I just want to make sure that in context, we think about also that some of the teams we've played as of late haven't been full strength either. So maybe those games aren't quite the routes that they would be. So, I mean, there's always a give and take to that. But, I'm done thinking about the old days and that time. I mean, injuries happen and guys get hurt. Thank goodness they weren't season ending, right? So we were able to get these guys back. But the Florida game itself, I mean, losing to Vanderbilt's a tough one. And and they're not playing very well. So that's very obvious, right? But kind of what I mean by that is it seems very disjointed, which happens when you get a new staff. You get guys that are maybe not bought in. Anthony Richardson may or may not want to run the ball. Who knows? He may have his eyes toward, next year. But apparently, by the way, apparently he has told the media that that this win this Friday will be a good momentum kickoff for the team.
I'm happy he said that.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be confident. You got to be. I mean, you're not going to play this game without being, having a belief in yourself. So, I mean, I don't expect him to not be confident, but maybe, saying the words to the media may not be the right plan.
Last thing I want to say before moving on fully to Florida, because, I mean, let's be honest, it was Louisiana. We weren't playing Clemson. So I do want to say congratulations, A.J. Duffy, throwing your first touchdown pass.
What a catch, too, man.
What it did show, because it was his body language and his body control were odd on that throw, but it showed his flick of the wrist arm talent, because he didn't step into the throw. He just kind of
he was kind of fading. He was kind of fading back to his left. Yeah, he was fading back to his left and kind of slingshotted the ball, and it got there in a hurry. And what a catch! I mean, that guy has got some talent. Marquiston, he's raw, of course, but that was really nice. It was really nice to see, a bunch of people that I have no idea who they are get significant. Yeah, get significant time. It was a fun day, Ryan. It was the weather was cool. It was cold. The crowd was decent. It wasn't great. The crowd was decent. It got loud in a couple of places where, third downs and things like that. And I wouldn't take too much away from, them scoring, in the fourth quarter. Give that to me all day long.
On the field in the fourth.
Yeah, give that to me all day long, where we're getting, walk-ons and fourth team guys reps that they can, bank and get better with. So, the shutout was lost in the first half. So, but the first team defense still has yet to give up a touchdown in quite a while. I don't believe in jinxes, so.
I want to give a shout out to Robert Scott, who sat there in the post game when they asked about how it feels, basically being on the sidelines, after two quarters. And he said, he kind of a big smile on his face. He's like, for those of us that have been here, last year we would have been trying to win the game in the third and fourth quarter, like game on the line. And here I am, and we're just chilling on the sidelines. It's kind of nice. And I'm like, yeah, it is. And it's so much fun, because you can tell. He even said the biggest difference between they asked about last year and the year before compared to this year. And he 100% said it was everyone hangs out, and no one ever used to hang out. Like, everyone's friends. There's a good culture. He said that literally he used to get to the weight room by himself. Everyone kind of take care of themselves before. And now this year, everyone's holding each other accountable and hanging out after practice. And he said that kind of thing matters. And so it was nice to see Robert Scott, show some of his personality there. He's very likable.
Yeah, I mean, think about how his career started. He's thrown to the wolves, man, right to the fire. And so I don't know if he was playing Hangman or not on the sideline, but at the very least, he was able to, watch the younger guys get valuable time. I mean, it's an amazing turnaround. And we got to witness it. I mean, it's been exciting. I'd be honest and say that I thought that this year would be a little more of an incremental growth, but it's been significant, and it's just been fun. It's just been fun to watch. It's fun. It's fun to watch this team, Ryan, and they're a likable team, and they like each other. And we talk about this. We've talked about this, week in and week out. Whether it's, I can't remember who it was, but running down the sideline while guys running a touchdown, getting excited for him, and it just happens every week. man, I don't want to project too far in the future, but if certain things happen and certain people come back, this could be a pretty special season coming up.
Yeah. And speaking of going into the Florida week, Vince, what does your gut tell you? Is this Jordan Travis's final regular season game as a FSU Seminole?
I mean, I don't think so. And I don't have anything other than, just wondering what his projected, draft grade would be. I think he, I think he might make practice squad or something like that, or maybe, a team takes a flyer on him because of his skills. But if you think about it, next year, he would go in as like a Heisman front runner, and with a team that's more talented around him and has more depth than this year, with a more favorable schedule probably, and think about what that could do. So I think he's probably going to come back, but I don't really, Ryan, as you know, I have no inside information.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he'll be back mainly because this year he didn't really have any national focus on him until maybe the last 3 weeks because, hey, we're winning and winning decently. So I really believe, Shannon, write him a please don't go letter. Yes. So I think, Vince, if we win the Florida game, and let's say win or lose the bowl game, it doesn't matter. If he comes back next year, game 1 against LSU, he's going to be preseason All-American, ACC first team All-American, Heisman hopeful. People are going to be paying attention to him from game 1. And that's what you need to get up in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, when I think back how he started, right, when he got here, he doesn't owe Florida State anything. He's given us a ton. I mean, we are accelerating toward being, a team to be reckoned with, like we're all used to. He has accelerated that. So if he were to leave, I would not fault him at all. But man, the chips could align in a big way next year, right? And so I'm hoping that's the case.
And going into the Florida game, we'll hold off on the predictions in a second, although I'm going to be going with recent history. I just don't think Florida's defense will stop us at all. I think we're going to run pretty roughshod over them. And it really comes down to, is Anthony Richardson, is he going to say, okay, listen, all on the line for this game, my body on the line, I'm going to be running like crazy? Because if so, they can hang around, I think, for a bit. I still don't think they would win, but it would give him a better chance. Or does he try to stay in the pocket, try to throw the ball, run out of bounds, take the short gains? And if so, I think it's going to end up being a big win, just because, I mean, I've seen so many ups and downs with this guy. I really don't know what to expect from him week to week. You see a big win, where he looks like an athlete to be reckoned with, and the next week he doesn't even leave the pocket, and you're like, I don't really understand week to week. What is it, a game plan thing? Is it how he's feeling health wise that game, or whether or not he really wants, maybe it's a rival type situation, like turn it on for the rival. Whatever it is, he's their only shot, because I've seen our offense run on pretty good defenses all year. And so I have zero concern about running it on them. And what that'll open up in the passing game with Jordan, we've seen him be able to take advantage of that. And teams score on Florida. Texas A&M scored on Florida. And Texas A&M can't score on anyone, including who they play this week. I think they
UMass.
only won it's 20.
They played UMass. Yeah.
Against the Fighting Walt Bells. So I think that this is going to be another blowout game for the first time in a Florida series in a long time for us.
Yeah, it looks that way. It's funny when I'm on Facebook or Twitter or you name it. Every other post is from a Seminole fan, talking about, hey, we got to take it one game at a time, and this could be a trap game and all this other stuff. First of all, rival games are never trap games. They just aren't. And they can't be. If a rival game is a trap game, then we have way bigger problems. But these guys, I don't have any doubt that they are going to attack this opponent like they've done all year. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who's on the other side of the ball. They are legitimately trying to be the best that they can be. And faceless opponent, all the verbiage about that. As far as like Anthony Richardson, I thought maybe at some point in the season he had gotten hurt. Maybe he was a little banged up or something like that. But to me, it just looks discombobulated. It looks disjointed. And, maybe to the point where the coaches don't know. If you think about it, like when you have limited options and you don't have a good handle on the culture yet, you're almost like scattershot. Let's try anything. And I think that's where they're at. Their defense has been pretty poor. And like you said, I don't have any. I'm not worried about things that I've been worried about in the past. Like, I hope we just don't make the stupid penalty, or I hope that the line can hold up briefly so Jordan doesn't, break a leg, So
Those days are over.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that stuff. I'm kind of at the point now, where I think to myself, what is this team really capable of? Forget about the opponent. What are they really capable of? Because when they get humming, man, and the coaches put the guys in positions to succeed, it's fun to watch, and but it's not plotting, right? There's a lot of teams out there that will be successful, but it's not necessarily fun to watch. This team is fun to watch. Running, passing, defense, you name it. So I'm pretty bullish on Friday night.
Yeah, I honestly don't think it'll be close. I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'll give my score because I'm very confident. I'm actually gonna go right along with what history tells us the last couple games. So I'm gonna go 35-7. I think they do get a touchdown off of us, but I think we're gonna pretty much score on every drive until we decide to turn it down a little bit. I see this. The only difference between this and the Miami game is that they have a better quarterback.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if the running backs are similar.
Nah.
Florida's got a couple of decent backs. So, yeah, maybe it is the quarterback. Maybe it is the quarterback.
What about you?
So what did you say? 35-7?
35-7.
Okay. I'm not too far off from that. I'm giving them a little more credit on the scoring because I do believe that that we have a jump up in talent on the opposite side of the field. Whether that talent is coordinated or not is a different story, but it is talent. So I'm thinking more along the lines of 38-17. So I'd be that's where I'm going with that. And one of those touchdowns from them will be late in the game. So
Isn't
I don't
it
know
great
if we
to consistently be talking about scoring in the 30s though?
Yeah, and I don't know if if the ball caps ever come on, because I don't know if that's going to happen. But boy, wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be a Christmas gift? God bless us, everyone.
Coming off the Florida game, Vince, we had some breaking news tonight. You want to break it?
Well, I'm not going to break it, but I wasn't the one that broke it. But it was very exciting news today, and I heard some things over the weekend that Monday might be a good day for us. But Brock Glenn, who is a quarterback commit to Ohio State, decommitted and committed to Florida State today. He was actually, earlier this year, there was a lot of chatter that Florida State was where he wanted to go, or at least they had good momentum with him. And then he went and took a trip to Ohio State, and then he committed to them. So, but that was during the summer, I believe. So, I mean, Ryan, you and I have been talking about this, right? We have to, in order for us to start getting the recruits we need the team to show that the growth is happening.
Yeah.
And so, so what has happened? Not just incremental growth. Like, this has been a big step forward this year. And so I don't know what's going on in Ohio State. I mean, they've got enough talent there. They don't need him to. So, but he decommitted from them today and committed to us. And that's a big deal. He's a 4-star quarterback, highly coveted by the coaching staff. And in his commitment video, he's wearing the icy white, if you haven't seen it. And so that's exciting. He's our only quarterback, our only quarterback in the recruiting class for this cycle currently.
Yeah, I mean, we're good on the roster right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
For right now.
Sure.
For next year, we're set. If Jordan comes back, and my only question is, does the Rotobaker try to transfer? Because I think AJ Duffy right now is, when I just look at talent for talent, I mean, that ball came out half power and it was still full power compared to anything else I've seen out of the quarterbacks. I mean, he slung that thing with a flick of the wrist and it got right where it needed to be for a touchdown. So, one thing I'm actually really excited for is the upcoming transfer portal, because if there's any team in the entire country that can say, if you come here as a transfer portal guy, success will follow. I mean, are we not the benchmark for the transfer portal?
I mean, we're transfer portal U at this point.
Yeah.
I really can't think of another school. I'm sure there are. I mean, we're solely hyper focused on this. Yeah, maybe. But yeah, we've done really well, and the coaching staff, kudos to them for taking the time and being organized and spotting talent and being able to weed out the ones that aren't going to fit, because that's important too. There was a lot of talk when they took Micah Pittman, that he wouldn't fit. He was kind of a prima donna or whatever. I don't know. I don't follow all that necessarily, but the coaches do their homework, man.
Do you remember all the podcasts and media, not us, saying that they just don't understand the Trey Benson, like why we picked up Trey Benson?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
There's another one. I mean, that one I think maybe had a little more substance to it, just because he's injured, right? And there's really no way to know. There's really no way to know.
Talk about
and the injury wasn't insignificant. It was a significant thing. So, but guy heals up, works his butt off, big team player. It's just love. I love that our team is going through this, man. I just love it.
I mean, you put the nail on the head. Then next year, Jordan Travis comes back, Johnny Wilson back, Benson back, Toe Philly back. Like you're just Michael Pittman, Winston Wright. I mean, you're just going down the line and saying, you're telling me that we can't score on anyone next year. I mean, come on now.
And the line is a year older too.
Yeah.
Injury. You never account for that, right? Injuries can happen, whatever. But it could be. I mean, it's going to be an exciting year no matter what. But if those folks come back, that's probably another game and a half on the win column. So
yep.
It's
I do
pretty.
Want to wish everyone out
exciting.
there though, whether you go to the 4 game or not, I will not be. Vince will be, because again, the Friday thing kind of made it a little weird, I know, for a lot of families. But if you do go to the game, be safe. I hope everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving with their family and has safe travels all week, because this is enjoy the time that you have with your family. You never know what can happen. You never know what people are going through. So, and shut it down. Enjoy the moment.
Yeah, look at Ryan. He's giving everybody the Tiny Tim vibes. I love it, Ryan. I love it. And yeah, I will be there, and not sure what lot we're going to be in yet, but I'll post something on the Facebook page there when we figure out which lot we're going to be in. But yeah, Thanksgiving coming up, and then the holidays after that. Ryan, we're going to do another post game after the Florida game, and it should be a good one.
Yeah,
I hope.
And we're going to do bowl game predictions after that.
And we'll do bowl game predictions. I hear, little birdie has told me, someone may have already purchased his bowl game tickets.
6 tickets, in fact, to the Gator Bowl, just putting my bets down, because the only way I feel like it's not the Gator Bowl is if everyone else in front of Clemson loses and Clemson gets to the playoff, we will be in the Orange Bowl against Alabama. But I don't see that happening. And I'm not even convinced Clemson beats South Carolina without South Carolina playing right now, which will be interesting, because if South Carolina beats Clemson, we might end up playing South Carolina in the Gator Bowl. So there's a lot of fun to be had in the coming weeks. And what a great time to be talking about a bowl game again.
Well, boy, I mean, if you think about it, when Garnet and Old started, that's where a lot of the old came from the early days of the podcast.
We were aged.
So it's aged quite a bit. Yeah, look at how far we've come. It's exciting to talk about just the momentum we have. It's exciting to talk about the bowl game, and let's make sure the Marching Chiefs get to the bowl game, wherever that may be.
It's too dangerous.
We got to get them there. It's unacceptable. I believe. Just keep bringing it up, but watch some games this weekend.
You're trying to put the Marching Chiefs' lives on the line, Vince.
Hey, listen, watch some games this weekend, and there were pep bands sent all over the place. There was a pep band sent.
A nasty place. We play in the Gator Bowl.
I believe
man.
I believe there was a pep band sent to the Vanderbilt game.
Yeah.
So, that's just we gotta do better. We got to do better as a school, and we got to do better as an organization. I'm not talking about the Chiefs. The Chiefs would go if they had the opportunity. But as an organization, a school, and as a fandom, as you're contributing, contribute to all of it. Contribute to, the boosters. Contribute to, whatever you can do. Obviously, but the Chiefs are a big part of it, and they deserve to go. So,
well said, sir. So, hopefully a big blowout. We can all celebrate, eat some turkey.
I'll take a win.
Have a second helping of turkey on Friday with some pie, and enjoy some Garnet Old podcasts afterwards.
Yeah, that sounds good. This has been Garnet and Old. This is the pre-Hogtown edition, and I'm Vince. That's Ryan. Garnet Old, no inside info, no contacts, no problem. We'll see everybody soon. Go Noles.